Hello, welcome back to Let's Play Kingdoms of Amalur, and we're in Calidus's mindscape, and we have to undo the possession. All right. Ah, mantle key. You're vulnerable to fire, huh? Or maybe poison? Yeah, I think you're vulnerable to poison. There we go. So, ooh, crude prismatic gauntlets. Prismere gauntlets. Those can be patronage. Okay, hold it. He has passed, but after but a few weeks upon attaining the level of savant, summoned to the chambers of the archsage deep in the caverns beneath our chapter house. I found him on the floor, struggling for breath, otherwise still. Helped to his senses, he reveals that he was dying, and though Bellin had reached out to take Ephraim, he had yet to draw him to death. It was then that he laid everything bare. No truth was admitted, no lie spoken. The true purpose of our order, the true meaning of our values and studies were after all my life. The true meaning of our values and studies were after all my life made plainly understood. With that he passed, pressing the band of cloth, the ring of the archsage, into my hand. I was to take the reins, he said. For better or worse, it had to be me. It has come, what Ephraim has warned me of. The fear that has plagued the mind of every archsage of our order has come to pass. She has awoken. She has found a way from her cell. I thought when such a time came, it would prove to be a more marked event that we would notice as the harbinger of her freedom. Though I had reports of an initiate whose trial killed some savants and drove others to madness, she did not appear immediately. And that was her greatest triumph. For all we knew of her, we expected her appearance to be marked by cataclysm and chaos. The raging storm has no need of subtlety and cleverness, for with a whim its winds can rip flesh from bones and burn all in its path. But she knew we would gird ourselves for such assaults, and connived to overwhelm the strongest of our orders from the shadows. And now there are two left, myself and the mind of the initiate who was present at her summoning. But now I feel my mind beginning to falter. Faith and anger must have fallen, and with him there is but one left whom I can support in earnest to assume the mantle of archsage. But I cannot falter yet. I will summon the once was initiate here, and with aid wrest control of my mind free from the dark sorceress. To have my mind be walked upon is troubling. There are many things in here I wish no one to face or learn, for they are the things I had to rid myself of long ago when I assumed the leadership of the Scholia Arcana. But if she is to be felled, I must be rid of her. Okay. Let's go north to start, I think. Oh, come on. What's going on here? Oh, just some terrain. You know, I thought that this quake is supposed to represent, you know, supernatural, incredible strength. I'm guessing is wrong because part of your nature is you are magical. So I think it's just if your might thing, the magic manifests in a different way. Come on, stagger, 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 stagger. Good for you. Prismier. Here we go.
Persistent, aren't you? From ruins to mountaintops, even in the mind of your pathetic arch-sage, who, despite you standing here, has given up hope. In fact, right now he is trying to tell you it is useless to fight Ciara Sedanis.
So how are you manipulating
In all
him?
the minds I have seen, there have been none that carried such indifference as this arch-sage. Does he care about the wars that wage across his land? No. Does he care for the lives of his subordinates? Not in the slightest. He long ago surrendered to the inevitability of my return.
Interesting.
Yes. I am the tyrant queen of the Dark Empyrean. The fools of the Scholia Arcana believe I was killed, but the Arch-Sage knows the truth. It is, perhaps, why he has surrendered all hope. He knows I cannot be defeated, only delayed.
Okay, you know how this will end.
I do, as does this Arch-Sage. Look at this man. He is a pawn of fate, completely surrendered to it.
I can't. The camera won't point to him.
He has hidden this apathy from the world, but now, let it be seen. The demons of this man's mind are yours to contend with, child.
Okay. I see. I got my directions all mixed up. And maybe my keys. Yes, my keys. I keep hitting E instead of W. Yes, please group up like that. Yep. Indifference, huh? Okay. These are his flaws that he had to bury. I think she's mistaking he looked at this, saw this was a flaw, and got rid of it, or suppressed it. I think she's mistaking the prisoner for the jailer. Got you. There we go. So, we're going to have Niskaru at the end, probably. Okay. Oh. Did I miss a thing? I probably did. I got that one. There we go. Cool. Read. Archsave Ephraim has taken me into his confidence once more, though I do not know why. Were I to appraise my skills honestly, I have only tolerable competency and interest in gemcraft and alchemy. I found some small enjoyment in the art of creating dispelling wards, but there is only one application of the craft which I truly find myself attracted to, a master of battle magic. First, it was no small shame of mine that, unlike the scholastic brethren I trained for wish with the majority of my life, I did not wish to live my life always in the library. Father, with whom from what little I recall of him, lived part of his life as a warrior, and I suppose that blood has passed down to me. But still, what use would I be as an apprentice to the archsage of our order? Should that rank not go to a better rounded student of magic? I know little of the archsage's duties. Indeed, I believe it was my inquiries regarding his ignorance that first brought myself to Archsage Ephraim's attention. But should they not act as custodian to the whole business of the order, and not merely one part of it? There are many better candidates amongst my peers who, upon noticing the Archsage Ephraim's increased attention to myself, have made similar claims in less polite terms. To be fostered by one as the Archsage, I do not wish a chain of ink and parchment on myself. As long as magic changes, there will always be battles to be fought with it. Ah. Cool. This is the left key, and patronage. Do-do-do. The possession begins. An odd patronage. There's the key ring. Oh, wow. Left key, patronage key. And the first one I picked, or dispelled. Let's see if you are the proper key. Huh. Is there more down this direction? Oh, there appears to be. Yep, here we go. The talent key. And if she thought that leaving those flowers pressed in the tome would work, she was right. By the gods, I thought that years of books and tutelage and learning would be enough to prepare me for anything. For the world of troubles and problems that I might eventually have to solve, and they did not. Nothing could have prepared me for her, sitting on a hill waiting for me as the sun came down, the wind teasing out the red-brown hair that flowed like wine in water so long, for it had never touched a blade in its life. She laughed, and it smelled like apples smell. As she smiled, and it sounded like birds in spring. I only came to test her aptitude to spellcraft, and in those scant seconds before we spoke to one another, I nearly fell so far into her eyes that I could not hope to escape. How could a force as strong as this exist? Am I just a fool in a line of fools that spans the centuries? Disarmed though I was, I carried out my duly appointed task. She laughed and told me that she had no desire to lead a life of craft and books and study, to forsake life as it lived for life as it might be, and looking into her eyes, I could not come to find that her at fault. There's a world out there that is different from one that we, the Scolio, lead. I walked away from that world some time ago, and only once when I met her have I ever had cause to regret that decision. Okay. Interesting. So, you're missing things, Sindonis. You're missing bits and pieces. He's not indifferent. Not the way you think he is. The flame key. Professor A. Willen was sore at me today because my potion was able to cure the aurochs of Cloverbloat and Valyun's wasn't. She said I'd relied too much on luck to ensure my balances were correct, and that Valyun's reagents had wilted in the summer heat. But I know the real reason she's mad, because her prize student isn't as good as the human. The Alfar seem to have wielded magic since always, and humans have had to make do otherwise. But every day I feel stronger and stronger. The Alfar know I'm not the only human that can use magic to this degree, and they know it. They're afraid that they're going to lose the only thing that's kept them lording over us for decades. The Professor A. Willen thinks I'm the face of the coming change. She's afraid of me, and she should be. When I was less than 2 and 5, I burned my family's woodshed to the ground with a thought. Some of her students had to train for years before they could make as much as a cinder. And even though I'm good at it, I'm not going to spend my life studying potion craft and writing tomes. The heat from that fire still warms my hand. It's a comfort. The only one I still have left. Okay. The left key, as in the world I left behind, not the direction. Interesting, but it was also on the left. Ah, cool. A little bit of Indiana Jones here.
And so my attempts to foster his indifference seem to have met their end. It does not matter. I have accomplished all I would have liked to. My freedom is guaranteed. So I can focus my attentions on you. You are my closest friend, after all. You served your purpose well.
Oh.
This body is the incarnation of the Archsage's goals and ideals. For all his aspirations, the man is a slave to his discipline. It is a pity. Had I the time to foster some of these ambitions, he would make a useful pawn, just like you. Do you not understand, child? It was your initiation that freed me. The magic of the spell could not find your potential, and so it chose the greatest power this world has ever known.
Yeah, think about the order of operations of what you just said.
Yes, it is a tawdry thing, after all. But his goals and ideas are too delicious to leave alone. And all around us you can see the parts of himself he sacrificed, just to reach this pathetic level of power. Let us reawaken some of these cast-offs. I think they might enjoy it.
Sacrifice. Okay. Oh. Spacebar. almost 100%, but not quite. There we go. Gold coins and the wild flame. Mommy isn't crying. The funny men with pointy ears are taking me, and Mommy isn't crying. But she looks like she will. Isn't she sad? Why isn't she being sad? She might be mad at me still for what I did to the woodshed, but it wasn't my fault. I didn't mean to. I just got so scared when the dog got near me that I threw my hands up, and there was fire and heat, and the woodshed was on fire, and I didn't want to make it, but the dog caught fire too, and I couldn't stop it. I could only stare and watch, and everything started to burn around me, and I was so sorry. I was so sorry. But it wasn't enough. Daddy found me and hit me hard once in the eye and once in the back. I told him, I said, Daddy, I didn't mean to. He said it did. He said, and he did it anyways. I was so sorry. And he kept hitting me until I stopped crying. But Mommy just stood there. She was crying, but it was quiet, and it was to herself. It's like watching her now as they're taking me away, and they have me by my hand, and they're leading me away, and no one is saying goodbye. No one's saying I'll miss you. No one's saying they love me. I'm put in the care of strangers, and I'm going away forever to learn how I made things burn. I'm sorry, Mommy, and I'm so very sorry. Oh. Yay. Oh, it looks like I lose whatever is on you. Okay. What time we got? That's not terrible. Do you have stuff I can take? Don't think so. So I've defeated ambition, and I've defeated indifference. Time to defeat a ghost.
Well done, Adept. I no longer feel the prying of Sardanas on my mind. You have freed me of her. Thank you, Adept. By freeing me of her influence, I can distill for you those thoughts you have liberated. From my ambition, I can impart to you an indomitable resolve. From my indifference, I can craft a fearless impartiality. The choice is yours.
How can you give this gift?
I am the Archsage, but I am also a human. There were certain flaws of character that I had repressed. Sardanas intensified those flaws until they threatened to overcome me. By destroying them, you freed me of these flaws. I can give you the knowledge of this freedom.
And what are the options
From
again?
my indifference, I can impart to you a sense of fearlessness. Through ambition, you can gain a will to strive for perfection. In many ways, they seem similar, but to you, the effects are disparate.
Discipline or fearlessness? I'm going to take the discipline. I don't want to be indifferent. Imbued with the tempered ambition of Archsage Calidus, you are filled with a heart and resolve, and feel capable of achieving any goal. Resistance and sorcery abilities.
Indeed. You have shown enough of it on your own for one lifetime, but we will need all we can muster to face the coming storm. Now, are we able to depart? We have much to do in order to begin.
Send back.
When we return, speak with me. The sorceress will not be suffered any longer.
Well, that's interesting. You get the twist of fate before the end of the story. The story arc. Okay. Inventory, accessories. This is no longer going to be a thing. we go. Brownie, mirror. There's a mirror there. This is another place that I get to keep, isn't it? Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Okay, there he is. And I am going to go ahead and go to a new video, so give me a moment.